I fear this jumper shrunk in the wash. I certainly didn't get longer arms. Hiya, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. I'm Lindsay, and I actually plugged my lav mic in this time, so I will do my best not to bump it. Do you remember Bump Its, those hair things? What a time that was. What was that, like 2008? I don't know. I don't know time. It surely wasn't 2008. Or was it? Anyway, it's Valentine's Day. I have been reading romances for years, but also just this past month, even though it's been 2 weeks into February. What I meant is I've been reading them in February and will continue reading them for February just as a fun little Valentine's thing. I went on a tangent. I'm doing a video recommending romances because today, the day I'm posting this, is Valentine's Day. So for starters, a book I read on BorrowBox called Ladies' Night. I talked about it. It was one of my 26 books to read in 2026 because I had it on hold on BorrowBox and it became ready like a week ago. So it takes place in medieval England where a woman, Gwen, is a blacksmith kind of secretly. Basically, it's her dad's business, but he can't make things. She is making them, and the people who have figured out that it's her have been willing to turn a blind eye because at least they have a blacksmith. It's not illegal for women to work in this world. However, it is frowned upon and it can be used against them, and it's not the best. So she is doing it hush hush. That aside, Gwen has other aspirations. She wants to compete as a knight in an upcoming Dragon Slayer tournament for dragons. But 1, she's a woman. 2, she cannot afford the entry fee regardless. Until a noblewoman named Isabel comes to her stall during a market day and buys her wares, so for a lot of money. This noblewoman also ends up finding out that she is the prize of the tournament, which she doesn't like. It's much to her chagrin. She is announced as the prize and she can't get out of it. So with Gwen now being able to afford the entry fee, she makes a plan with Isabel and Gwen, that Gwen is going to compete in the tournament disguised as a man in order to make Isabel not have to be the prize of a man. So it is a very cute story. It is not perfectly written, but I think it's a very cute, romantic, it's a sapphic story that kind of might have been just how I was picturing things, but A Knight's Tale vibes. And besides the romance, a lot of it is about feminism. It's a very feminist story, and it is about also Gwen herself and her self-confidence and proving to herself that she is able to achieve the things she wants to achieve and is able to do things like be a knight. She's tired of hiding who she is, not just as a blacksmith, not just wanting to be a knight, but also her sexuality. So like I said, it's a sapphic story. It's a queer feminist story. Lots of fun. Highly recommend it for like a easier read that is just cute. So this is a YA story that I actually listened to the audiobook in one day. It is called My Week with Him. It is a story, it's a coming of age story very much so, about a girl named Nikki. She's 18 and she has a dream of being a singer. She has a complicated home life and ends up getting kicked out of her home because she had plans to secretly go to California and audition to be in a girl group. So when that got thwarted, she ends up staying for a little bit with her best friend Malachi. She has feelings for Malachi, and it is very much like an instant kind of romance with them. It's not a lot of like tension and pining and building up the romantic connection. They have been best friends for a long time, and I felt like the story had a lot more to it than the romance, with the coming of age and the family background going on as well. She has a very complicated relationship with her mother. She has her little sister as well that kind of betrays her in the beginning, so it's about her relationship with her sister, her relationship with her mother, and then there is also her relationship with Malachi. It is a lot about friendship building into romance and like discovering the feelings, the kind of way that trying to figure out how to word this, but the way in which like romance can be built on friendship, and it can feel very comfortable and familiar and like a friendship, just a little bit different. So it's very much about that, but like I said, I felt like the romance was almost sometimes like a background to the coming of age and the family issues, but it is very sweet. If you're looking for something that builds up the romance and the tension, this isn't that. It is just like a teen friendship romance story that also has coming of age and other things going on as well. But I thought it was very I thought it was very sweet and very like something teenagers might enjoy. I don't know. I just wanted to recommend it as like a YA kind of like easy read in that sense, but it's just very heartwarming, even though there are very difficult issues with the family issues. So that's something as well that I think, you know, makes it an interesting and unique story, is the way that it deals with some family issues and like a very hard mother-daughter relationship, and even like some side characters have other things going on in their lives as well. That is stuff that, you know, isn't the coziest to talk about, but surrounded by this romance, or surrounding the romance. It's a romance that also deals with other issues in life that can be harder to talk about, so it kind of cushions it. But it is an important read because of that, because I believe that reading about all different aspects of life and all different things that people go through and deal with and that kind of stuff is important, and kind of why I love reading. So that's just a very long-winded way of saying that you should read this book. Yes, I put on earrings in the middle of my review. Final thing to say about my week with him, as I've already mentioned, it's a YA. It's very much YA, even though it has like swearing and it's pretty steamy, but it's like in such a teenage way. So yeah. Third, I just talked about in my January reading wrap up, People We Meet on Vacation. I kept saying it wrong last time, but it is about Poppy and Alex, who meet in undergrad, and they aren't instantly best friends. They don't hit it off right away, kind of get off on a rough start, but once they find a connection, they very quickly become best friends, to the point where they plan to have a trip, a vacation every single summer. For a long time, almost every summer, they go on these trips. So the story is kind of going back and forth in time, from current time to these trips, and giving you glimpses of these trips to kind of show you their dynamic and build on their backstories and their motivations. But then there's the fateful trip in Croatia that changes everything, that makes it so they don't talk for 2 years. Poppy ends up kind of hitting a wall at work. She's in a bit of a rut and she's not sure what's causing it. She feels like it might be a professional kind of burnout. So she thinks, you know, when was the last time I was happy? And the last time she was happy was on her trip with Alex, when she would go on vacations with Alex. So she ends up reaching out to Alex and planning a trip to try to get their friendship back on track. It's once again a story of love that stems from friendship, and like figuring out like what really is the difference between loving them and wanting them as a friend, and loving them and wanting them as a partner, and kind of figuring out your own desires and where they stem from. Like I said, the character motivations are kind of, you know, revealed throughout as you like go back and forth, but it's about like figuring out, why do I want what I want? And is this what I need? Is this really what's making me happy? Yeah. It's all about what do you truly want. It's a very, very lovely story, and I felt like on top of that, it's kind of a bit of a character exploration within each of them, not as heavily as a book that is like very much a character exploration. Obviously this has like a big plot and storyline as well that kind of goes over this 10-year period of time. So that being said, I watched the film, I think like a week or so after finishing the book, and I was kind of disappointed by the film. Did I expect it to be just like the book? No, I always expect adaptations to take creative liberty, especially, you know, it's a different platform, it's a different medium. You cannot put all the details that are in the book in the film, and sometimes just certain plot points don't translate well over to film. So it's like, yes, they did change plot points, but that's not even why I felt disappointed by it. It could be because I just read the book and got so like deeply invested in these character stories that you don't get as much of in the film, and I felt like it was kind of like lacking in the characters' motivations, but it was still cute. That being said, I think I would probably recommend the book over the film, and I'm not usually someone that's like, for sure all the time, the book is better, even though obviously I really love reading and books, and I tend to like to read a book before seeing a film that is a book. This one especially, I highly recommend the book more so than the film. Because like, I'll watch the Narnia Walden Media films, don't really care for the books all that much. Anyway, next is Check and Mate. Ali Hazelwood. This was my second time reading an Ali Hazelwood book. I did a vlog of The Love Hypothesis like a few years ago, a couple years ago now. I don't remember how long ago it was. I really enjoyed this book and I really recommend it. So let me get into what it's about. So this story follows 18-year-old Mallory, who was a chess prodigy when she was a kid, but gave it up when she was 14 due to life-changing events happening within her family. Now, like I said, she's 18 and she's taking care of her two younger sisters, her chronically ill mom, a guinea pig that one of her sisters stole, and she is watching her friends go away to school, go away to university, while she is planning on continuing to work this mechanic job. She ends up losing the mechanic job, but thankfully, shortly before that, she went to a charity chess tournament with one of her friends. Her friend convinced her to do it, and she ended up beating the #1 chess player in the world, so that of course got her a lot of attention within the chess community. Oh, and of course, the #1 chess player in the world is 20-year-old Nolan Sawyer, who is a very attractive, also child chess prodigy. She is a bisexual woman in STEM icon. It is a very fun book. Ali Hazelwood loves her pop culture references and feminism and kind of talking about the misogyny within STEM. So I really appreciate that as, you know, someone who cares about those issues. And it did kind of remind me of The Love Hypothesis in some way, women in STEM and grumpy sunshine and kind of familial issues. That being said, I think this came from a time where Ali Hazelwood was very much sticking to what she knew as a woman with an academia background. And I still like, very much it was a different story, given that it was about chess and like the backgrounds of each character were still definitely different despite having similarities. I will say, I don't know how to play chess. I was so emotionally invested in these chess games. So truly, I really enjoyed this story. I think I liked it even more than The Love Hypothesis. And I know The Love Hypothesis is being made into a film, but this is one while I was reading it. And I don't really think of this too often when I'm reading books. I do kind of want to see this one adapted to the screen. Maybe so I can like understand chess a bit better to like get the visualization of it. But that being said, really enjoyed this book. Highly recommend it for a very cute, another cute, like easy romance read. And when I say easy, I don't mean to like be like condescending, especially towards like the writers or anything like that. I mean, like, it's not something that you have to like really sit with and digest and dissect and that kind of stuff. Finally is Second Ties the Charm, another one that I listened to the audiobook. It is a second chance romance following Hope, who is a marine biologist that loves sharks but hasn't had a chance to work with them in a while because she moved back home to Michigan to help her friend after her friend's husband sadly passed away. Her friend has children that she wanted to help with and also a family business that she wanted to help work at. Well, I guess it's not really like a family business, it's her friend's business that she runs that Hope was helping her with. Her friend pushes her to get back into the shark business. You know, the shark business, because obviously that's what she's really passionate about. But to do so, she ends up going to work on a research boat that of course her ex also works on. Her ex, Adrian, his point of view is also shown in the book. It kind of goes back and forth with each chapter. He is not only still a marine biologist, but he is a shark YouTuber. You know shark YouTubers, which this book is very pro shark, yay hooray. His channel is meant to like dispel rumors and myths, dispel rumors and dispel myths and give people an education on sharks. On top of that, when revisiting their history, Hope really revisits her feelings because she never planned on love. She has lofty career goals. She's very interested in her marine biologist shark work, and she also sees that Adrian is as well, and he has his own career goals, and she was worried about their careers taking them in different paths and didn't want one of them to have to give anything up or to settle in order for them to be together. Regardless of that, they both need to be able to move forward and work together while it is bringing up feelings of the feelings they still have for each other and kind of the issues that they had in the relationship. It is something that they have to learn how how to navigate while also learning how to grow as people. And I will say, I have mentioned Insta-lust before. When it comes to Insta-lust, this book has it, but it is not as annoying to me as in other books where they just see each other and immediately are like awooga, like that kind of stuff, because they have a history, so it makes sense for them to instantly feel that attraction when they see each other again. Like, you're not really gonna get the tension and pining building up to like realizing having feelings and realizing you're attracted and that kind of stuff, because of the fact that it is the second chance that they have the feeling. So while that book does have this, it does not upset me as much as other books have. So, you know, because I didn't really have any like second chance stories and ones that are more like building up to the relationship, other than the YA one that's an exploration of life outside of the relationship and like friendship and relationships and that kind of stuff. I felt like this one was a little different, and so it would have been fun to add on to this recommendation list. So yeah, that is all I have. If you like this, like and subscribe, and I will see you in a week. Bye. Need a pillow to sit on because of course I do.